Uh, and good morning and welcome to a very special edition of the Icecast Live. My name is Shane Chebsey and I am flying solo at the moment because I have no co-host. It's just me. What we're doing today is we are, of course, launching the new Hedrek book. And this is a very special book because it's not just a single story. It is an anthology with an amazing array of guest star creators. Now I've got that music playing in the background and it's really annoying me. So I'm going to get rid of it because it's not very loud, but it's in my ears and it's just I'm gonna put that to bed, I think, if it'll let me. There we go. That's better. I can hear myself think now. Facebook user. That means you've come through the Hedrek site, because it doesn't give names when you're on the Hedrek site. So hello, Facebook user, huzzah. Let's know who you are, and then I can say hello properly. That is a drawback of the coming in through the groups. Hey Darren, how's it going? Glad to see your books arrived at last. Hope you liked the little extras I added. Really nice to see you in the chat, mate. Okay, so of course we're launching the book, and joining me soon will be Laurence Alison. Apparently he's eating porridge right now, according to his messages. But he will be joining us, and also Stephen Austin. Now, Stephen has messaged me to say that he's having trouble getting onto the site, some security stuff. Too much security online. We say that, and then we get hacked, and we're happy with it. Here's Laurence. Let's let him into the room. Hopefully he's finished his porridge. Good morning, Laurence.
Good morning, Shane. Sorry about that last minute panic. The usual technical problems.
That's all right. Just to let you know, you are live, but you can swear.
Right. Oh, no, that's good. That's good. I was on Crime years ago, and you do a live run through at 8 o'clock. I don't know if viewers remember the Crime Watch program, but you used to do a live run through from 8 till 9, and then they'd hit the go button. You do exactly the same thing again. And when I did the live run through, I said, I have got a bit of a tendency to swear. So is there any, special equipment that they can bleep? They said, just don't swear. Never swear. Do not swear. So I did manage to control it.
It's always sort of a good rule of thumb, isn't it? On live TV.
As an expert, not as a candidate for the Crime Watch EFITs or whatever. Yeah, it was a weird day.
I was going to say I was on Crime Watch once. It's like, I knew you had a dark past, Laurence, but come on.
Yeah.
So we've got a few comments already. The Facebook user, by the way, was Leonard. Hi, Leonard. That's Leonard Sultana, the Englishman in San Diego.
How you doing, sir?
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
It is good to see him. And from the Upshot is hello. Now, I believe that is a group that supports the AWA publications, or it might be a little bit more than that. But I remember seeing AWA, and AWA a great publisher.
Great to see
you. Yeah, I love them. He's talking about the Hedrek books I sent him, Laurence. Thanks, Shane. I haven't read the books yet. Oh, he hasn't read them yet, but the artwork looks absolutely incredible, really nightmarish. So he hasn't appreciated your contribution to the book yet, Laurence. So
that's all right. I can live with that. Even if the artwork alone has made him purchase it, that's all good with me. Thank you.
Let us know what you think of the story, Darren, when you do read them. I think you'll enjoy it. It's and I am, of course, talking about these two babies, the first two Hedrek books, which are available from various outlets, including Get My Comics and from me, I guess, as well, and at various conventions. But they were very successful on Kickstarter. Now, today we're launching a new Kickstarter, aren't we, Laurence?
We are indeed. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Now, what happened once when I tried to do a live launch? So I've got the button ready there, because the last time I tried it, Kickstarter threw it back and said, we can't launch right now because there's something wrong. And it's like, oh. So, and I wasn't able to fix that during the stream, obviously. So I thought what we would do, we would attempt the launch right at the start. And then if it doesn't work, we'll just carry on. Hopefully this time it will. So, yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go onto that screen. So I can't see this screen while I'm in the launch. So if I do things that are a bit odd, it's because I can't see myself. Because you do sort of ground yourself when you're doing these live streams with what you see on the screen. You know, it's very odd when you can't see yourself. It's a strange thing. So I'm going to quickly go on there. So and then let's see if we can launch this Kickstarter. Yes, launch project. Let's see what it says. Okay. Yes. Oh, congratulations! Your project is live.
We like the degree of risk. That's what we like.
Yeah, that's live streaming for you. You know, you got to take these chances.
No risk, no reward.
So I'm going to pop back in. Yeah, I'm going to pop back in now so I can see if there are any comments to respond to, because it looks like we have Darren again. They are. I meant lol. The upshot is that's me. Well remembered, Brian. Hedrek is an amazing series. Oh, thank you, Brian.
Good to hear.
Really appreciate that. Darren again. Thanks, guys. I will do. I'll provide a review on the Facebook page for you all as usual. Well, thank you.
Perfect.
Appreciate that as well. From Hal Laren, congratulations. Oh, thank you, Hal. Congratulations on your recent Kickstarter as well, mate. For a beautiful book that I do have downstairs, and I can heartily recommend it. I think it is your best work to date, Hal. And I understand you've got another Kickstarter coming up, so please feel free to plug it in the comments, because that's how we roll. Yay, go boys. Facebook user. Who are you, Facebook user? On the Hedrek page. Morning, chaps. Best of luck with the new Kickstarter. Thank you very much. Let us know who you are. Issue 2 launching Tuesday. There you go, guys. If you're a Hal Laren fan, watch your socials on Tuesday, because he will be launching his new issue, which is going to be great. Okay,
there's a ton of indie stuff at the moment out there, isn't there? I mean, it's just
there is
huge proliferation and resurgence of stuff, and so so much good stuff to get your hands on at the moment, I think.
There really is. I mean, especially right now. I mean, Ali Fell has got a project on, The Kissing Game.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah, it looks great.
Absolutely. Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Really well. But I mean, you can see the amount of love that's gone into that, and it deserves to do so well. I met Ali back at Thought last year, and such a nice guy and very humble, but so talented as well, and the amount of work that goes into every page. So that's a great looking Kickstarter. But there's loads of other stuff out there as well. So
really
it's all good.
They're relaunching First Men on Mars as well, aren't they?
Yeah, that looks phenomenal. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, the first campaign, I think it wasn't quite right, and so it didn't quite reach target. But I think what they're doing now with the issues, I think that'll work really well, because it's a great book. The talent involved. It looks incredible.
And you never quite know why things work or don't work, or when they work, and part of it may be timing and God knows what. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're hoping this does as well as the other volumes have done. And of course, I mean, in a way, the weird thing is with this, I've kind of almost forgotten that. It's so long ago that I wrote it. But as you know, Shane, I've completed issue 4 not that long ago, and David starting to churn through that. So I had to sort of remind myself what I'd written on this. But man, we've got some great artists in this issue.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and what I'll do, because obviously they're in the campaign, so I'll flick over to the campaign, and I should be able to go into it. Oh, we've already had pledges. Well, thank you very much for those 3 people who've backed already. 4 people. Sorry, I correct myself. Thank you very much, guys. Obviously, there is, as I said in the promotion before this, there is an early bird option. Now, you don't have to take it if you want to give us a little bit of extra money, but it is there. And here we are. Here's the cover, the full cover in all its glory by Shane Oakley. I assume you can see my screen there, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great cover. I mean, Shane and I talked about this at some length, and you know, Shane being Shane sent in several different versions that I think both you and I looked through, didn't we? And and they all actually, I think 4 were sent through, and they all looked great. And then I think we plumped for this one. But what really stood out was when it came in color, because it's such an unusual palette. But I think it'll really stand out on the shelves. Shane's done such a great job on that. And it's a really unusual color palette. It works really well with the logo, obviously, and that sort of autumnal sort of look is it's really nice. So what is the early bird offer, just so that we know?
Yeah, so the early bird offer, now I need to hit the other scroll. So obviously there's the PDF for £4, which is the usual digital offering. And then the early bird offer is £6 for the printed book. Now, usually it's £8. So that's quite a big discount. So now's your chance. This will only run until, I think, 11 o'clock tomorrow. Now, I think I've stretched it out to 11 p.m., but it is only going to run until tomorrow. So, you know, if you want the early bird, you have to catch the worm early. And you will get the PDF as well with that. So it's a pretty good offer. I always try and make it as good value as possible, but then obviously the normal pledge is for £8 for the book. And I must thank as well, because there's a lot of there's credits on this page for all the creators, and I'll go through them during this stream. But I want to thank Andy Bluer, who has done a fantastic job, not just of designing the book, designing the cover, but also doing all these nice little graphics for us in Kickstarter, because recently Kickstarter brought in that you can illustrate your pledges. You never used to be able to do that. So I was really, it was important that we had some pictures of the books presented nicely, and Andy stepped in and did that for us, and I think he's done an absolutely great job. So, and you can of course catch up with the whole series if you're watching this and you're new to Hedrek, which is probably unlikely, but if you are new to it, then you can catch up on all 3 issues available. So you can issue 1, issue 2, and this special one shot, which was originally, I don't know if you want to talk the viewers through this, Laurence. Originally this was going to be just an issue 3, wasn't it? But we decided to do it a little bit different.
Yeah, well, it's a kind of weird way that it evolved. I've kind of written issues 3 and 4, and then for various complex reasons, we couldn't get Dave on board for 3, although I'm delighted to say he's back on 4. And it just struck me, I mean, the Hedrek universe has got so many characters in it that I thought maybe it would allow the sort of plot to breathe a bit more by allowing some of those stories to evolve a bit more. I mean, as anyone knows that knows anything that I've ever written ever, I'm very, very keen to keep the plot moving. I'm not a big divert. A shit ton of stuff happens very quickly, and so it sort of became a weird combination of both issues 3 and 4, and I was able to accelerate parts of the plot as well. But what we do in this is they're 4 separate stories that lean into different characters, but they do move the whole narrative forward. There's nothing in there that's a sidebar story that isn't moving the plot forward. So the entire story is still told. It's still moving the whole narrative forward, but we do lean into some of the characters a little bit more heavily. So, I mean, we can talk about that, whatever you want to do with it, Shane. But so it's and I think what's really pleasing about it is each of the 4 artists are so different in their style, and partly strategic, but also a bit of serendipity. Their styles suit so well those 4 different stories.
They really do.
More fitting set of stories. I mean, do we want to talk about the artist now, Shane? Do we want to go?
I think we should. I'm just going to read out 3 comments, but well, actually 4
go
comments. Ahead. From Brian. congrats on Thought Bubble as well. Yes, we will be at Thought Bubble, which is fantastic, with this book and lots of other stuff besides. But yeah, thanks for that, Brian. From Darren again. Oh, great artwork. It is, isn't it? He's talking about the Shane Oakley there, definitely. And from Ali. Hey, Ali, how you doing? That
Nice
cover is a beaut. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Shane did us proud. He really did. Fantastic work. And from Hal, backed with 3 kisses.
Oh, that's very
wow.
kind.
Thank you, especially for the 3 kisses. I don't get many of them these days, But thank you, Hal. I really appreciate that. So yeah, let's continue. I'll go back onto the screen and we'll have a look at those artists. Obviously, yourself, Laurence, needs no introduction, really.
That's me.
I do love that photo. And of course, Steve Austin was the first artist that we announced. Now, Steve obviously is known for working at 2000 AD, but he's actually got pretty good indie roots. He's worked on some great stuff. But he did a great job, didn't he, Laurence, on that story?
Yeah, fantastic job. I mean, Steve's stuff's very dynamic. He's great at fight scenes as well. And I mean, when I work with artists, I always ask them what they like to draw. And I always think a good question to ask is, what kind of TV, film, and stories do you like? And I can't remember exactly what Steve told me. I think he said Kill List, actually, which is yeah, which is again, for those of the viewers out there that haven't seen Kill List, I highly recommend it as a great folk horror. But there's some pretty brutal scenes in that. So with that in mind, I was able to put some pretty sort of grim and gritty stuff for Steve to draw, and he's done a great job. The weird thing as well is, when I'm scripting something, I do kind of have a visual in mind myself. I'm not very specific about my direction on it, but I kind of see the page myself. And it's always fascinating when an artist brings a page in, because then you think it doesn't look anything like what was in my head at all. Steve's very good at picking different sort of orientations to show the action. Sometimes he'll do a high scale aerial shot, and then he'll do one from the floor. Nothing that I would have thought of, but that's the you sort of see the cleverness and the experience of how Steve works up a page. And it's always I mean, I'm fascinated to see his thumbnails, the pencils coming through. His pencils are so detailed. He's done a phenomenal job, and his story sort of leans us into the Johnny Jack and Father Christmas narrative.
There we go. And that's one of Steve's pages. Yeah.
So that's the opening page, I think. So,
and those who've read the issue 1 will obviously be familiar with that scene from issue 1. It is sort of, we do flash back a little bit, don't we, in between the narratives. But that's
well, we never really learned in that after that first issue what happened to these 2 guys, but that will take us forward. And some of these characters are going to be pretty important for the end tale, really. So really lovely detailed work there. Interesting sort of shots and angles that Steve's put into it. There's some, I was going to say nice violent action. That's not the right word, is there? But there's some
satisfyingly violent,
satisfyingly violent scenes in it, and it builds our characters up a bit as well. And it's always fascinating to see another artist's take on characters. Although I did, happily, without giving the game too much away, Dave was cursing me for this fucking outfit that Johnny Jack's got of all these dolls, which he had to draw exactly the same time, about 9 or 10 panels. So, but I only tortured Steve with that, I think, once or twice. So
he probably revelled in it anyway. He probably revelled in the challenge of it.
Maybe I don't know.
Oh, it is great. I mean, I've obviously we've seen the whole strip, and we will release a few more pages as the campaign goes on. But we wanted to just show people examples of what these artists do, and I think Steve's done a great job there. I have had a message from Steve on my phone, and he has had a problem getting on to the show, some security issues with his browser. And that does happen occasionally with Apple products. So I'm not sure if that's what the problem is. I
downloaded Firefox, Chrome, and God knows what else. But Macs can be notoriously difficult. So I don't know, whether it's that or what. But hopefully we'll get him in.
Hopefully he'll work it out. Maybe he's got a laptop or a PC or something with Chrome on it that'll that'll come through without any issues. I think it is a security issue that Apple throws up sometimes. So hopefully Steve will join us soon. A couple more comments from Dave Healy. Hey, Dave.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, hopefully you'll be seen a little bit more soon. From Darren again, Kill List is a brilliant film. You're right. It's very gritty and brutal. It starts out like a gangster film, then changes completely halfway through. Very clever.
It's fucking nuts, that film. Have you seen it, Shane?
I haven't, you know. No.
Tonight, put it on. Trust me.
I must.
It's a great,
I feel like I'm
movie.
out of the loop here, not knowing this.
Yeah,
well, I know the film, but just not. It's one of those I've not got around to watching yet.
It's a down and dirty movie, but Darren's right. It changes. You feel like it's a hitman movie, and then suddenly, Jesus, what is going on here? It's so strange. Right. It's so disorienting. It's just, God, who's the director? Also did another great movie called The Field in England. He did, which is another horror, and I think quite recently did another one with Reece Shearsmith.
Right.
Remember the director's name now, but yeah, great British film. It's a great film. Kill List. I highly recommend it.
I'm sure some people in the comments will put us straight on who the director is and what are the films they. Ben Wheatley, apparently, according to Dave.
Yes, thank you, Dave.
Thank you,
Dave. What's the other film about the couple that go on a camping trip and go around murdering people? Also, Ben Wheatley. Dave will know this immediately as well. The Sightseers, I think it is. Sightseers, another film. Yeah, very funny, very moving, and also very brutal. But Ben Wheatley.
I must check these films out. I've not seen that one either. It sounds really up my alley as well because, dark humor, a bit of violence, and some, it sounds really good. Now we've got some more people from the Hedrek group who we don't know who they are. Ahoy, hoy! Hello, Facebook user. Please let us know who you are. And another one saying hello. So please let us know who you are. If you're coming from the Hedrek group, it will just say Facebook user. It's a limitation of the software. So just maybe say you are in the comments. And somebody agrees with you. Laurence Sightseers is amazing.
Yeah, great film.
And from Ali, High Rise is another Wheatley.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've not actually seen High Rise. I heard less good things about High Rise, but I should check that out.
So like that, it's filling up my weekend rapidly. This.
It's just like a movie podcast now. So
yeah. Well, we let our podcasts go how they go. Then everyone knows what we're here for, so we can have some fun. Chris Askham, morning, Chris. Morning, guys.
Yeah.
Said hello earlier, but wasn't logged in properly. Looking forward to the new book. Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it, and well done on all your recent successes on Kickstarter as well, Chris. I always pledge on most of your stuff, and it's always very satisfactory. From Jane Pickworth, hi Shane Chebsey. That's very formal, isn't it? Hey Jane, how you doing? Now, Jane's a friend of mine. She lives near me actually in Shrewsbury. She's a very talented artist. She's a voiceover. She works with the BBC. She designs logos. Incredibly creative person. And she's just launched a new website, I believe. Jane, if you want to put your website in the comment, I will happily share it for you. Now, what we got next? How rude. It's Luke. Switching now. Hey, Luke. Hey, I think that might be Luke Cooper. That's the first Luke that comes to mind. Somebody I've worked with in the past. Great artist. Really nice to see you, Luke, if that is indeed you. A lot of comments today, Laurence. It is a bit weird, must be said. I think he's talking about that film.
High Rise, yeah.
Weird's good. I like Weird. From Darren. Was The Wicker Man an inspiration for Hedrek's artwork? Good question. And Laurence, so that's one for you, I think.
Well, you have to ask Dave, I guess, but it's certainly an inspiration for the story. It's one of my top 3 movies, probably The Wicker Man. Maybe even, no, top movie's got to be Jaws, I guess. But big fan of The Wicker Man. So that was definitely an inspiration for the writing. Dave's artwork has got that sort of vibe about it. And when I wrote the story, I always had Dave in mind for drawing it. He's done a phenomenal job on those first 2 issues. And I've got to say, I've seen the first 7 pages of issue 4, and 4 will complete the arc. It's going to be a bit longer, might be 32, 33 pages, something like that. So, but I've got Dave some really wild stuff to draw in the latter half of that 4th issue.
Oh, I mean, I have seen. Steve's in.
Here.
We've got him. We've got him. I'll come back to the comments shortly, guys. There are a few more, but let's let Steve in. Hold everything. Steve has arrived. Hey.
There he is.
Welcome to the stream, Steve. How you doing? Oh, we've got
can't
no
hear you,
can't hear you. We've got no audio. He can hear us, I think. He's talking away. We can't hear you, Steve. Have you got your headphones on? Are they switched on? I'm waiting now for him to just suddenly start talking. No, he's looking confused now. Oh, we thought we were there. We've got visual, but we've got no audio. We can see that beautiful face, but we can't hear those dulcet tones.
I think that was for fuck's sake.
Fuck's sake, yeah. Oh dear. Well, you keep trying, Steve. There will be a way of getting your head. You might have to go off and come back on.
You might have to do semaphore. Do semaphore,
yeah.
Steve.
Yeah,
semaphore, fine. Or write things on a sheet of paper. Or draw them, maybe.
We're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Maybe go off and come back on. That works sometimes.
Yeah, try going off and coming back on and activating your
your
microphone. Oh, he'll make it. He'll make it. We'll see you again shortly, Steve.
He's going off. He's going back.
Oh dear! Don't you just love technical problems? They're great, aren't they? So it was Luke Copsey actually who was speaking.
Luke, good to see you. Good to
guessed. Hey, Luke, look forward to seeing you soon at the Telford Comic Convention that we're both going to, which will be interesting. I don't know if you've seen that one, Laurence.
I think, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah. I can't make that one.
It's very much more a TV and movie centered thing,
right.
but you know it's up the road from where I live, and Luke lives in Telford. He's in Trench, so
what's the date of the Telford one? When is that?
Oh God, now you've got me. I'm so unprepared, aren't I? Can anybody in the chat tell me when? Luke, can you tell us when the Telford one is? He's probably much more on the ball. Facebook user, I'm great. Oh, it's Jane. And there's her website. It's janepickworth.com.
janepickworth.com. There you go.
There. Check it out, guys. Some really cool artwork on there. And who we got? Never City Media. Hello. Is it working through YouTube? Yes, it should be. You're commenting on YouTube right now. In fact, according to this. So yes, YouTube should be working as well as Facebook. I didn't put the stream on Twitch for this one because John's not about, and I just didn't. So, but yes, the YouTube live should be working as well as the Facebook live. Take 2. My name is up now. There you go, and the picture as well. That's it. We like to see these beautiful faces, and it's the 7th of May. Thank you, Luke.
Excellent.
7th of May. What's happening on the 7th of May? Oh, yeah, Telford Comic Convention. That's a busy week for me, actually, early May. I'm traveling all over the place with work. So if you come and see me in Telford, I'm a bit tired. There's your reason why. I'm back on Facebook now. Thank you, Luke. So let's have a look at some more of these artists, shall we, Laurence? Because
let's do that.
We are 28 minutes in already.
Are any of these pages available for sale, Shane? Because I've not seen the campaign. What's sort of being offered as and stuff?
Now I know that Adam, who we will come to, is selling all of his original pages.
Right.
I'll there we are. There's Adam. Speak of the devil. So Adam, another great artist, works with Graham Puttock on his title. And also, I remember years and years and years ago buying a title from Adam called Whatever, which I think ran for 6 or 7 issues. But these days, he works with other writers.
He's also working with John Stewart, who's the new artist on the clock at the moment on Shockwave.
He is.
On there. But yeah, his is. I think this is the first page of his strip.
Yeah,
which is beautiful stuff.
Really nice faces, really atmospheric stuff. And like you said, Laurence, he was perfect for this story because it's a really personal story, isn't it? This one.
Yeah,
Hedrek.
he's. I know Adam's got this reputation for sort of doing noirish stuff, and that works well with this. But also, this is very, it's a pretty sad moment for Hedrek. This is, talks about some losses that he incurred, and here he is interviewing Summer Bacaley, and we go back into his past and his relationship with his wife and his son, and in this story we'll see how he lost his eye. But it's an important plot point moving us forward. And I wrote this as a 6-pager, and Adam, being Adam, said, "Oh, I think I'll add a couple of pages to it." So it was interesting working with Adam, because I actually rewrote parts of the dialogue, parts of the script. I had a full script there, and he drew it and extended it, which I think worked. Actually, it slowed. I've got a tendency to race through things, but this needed a bit of a slower, slightly more melancholic vibe, and he really did it justice. And because he's left quite a bit of space, I was able to add a bit more dialogue, which again, I've got a possibly bad habit of being a bit too mercenary in the editing. But yeah, it's come out really well. It tells the story really well. It's a very sad moment in Hedrek's life, and it's there's some great pages there. So and all of those pages are for sale, are they?
Yeah, Adam's selling all of his pages. I think I've got the details on here. Let's have a skip. I'll just skip through.
I mean, his last page on that is phenomenal, and would have actually been a terrific cover. I mean, absolutely sublime. So
I think it's an add-on. I think they're add-ons by the looks of it. Have we got Steve?
Yeah. Steve is back.
Let's see if I can get. Let's have a look. See if we can get him back. Hey, Steve.
Can you hear me?
Oh yes! Hey! Victorious!
Only took it half an hour.
I tried it on. I didn't link into this earlier, obviously, but I just put a Zoom chat on just to check out if the audio worked, and it all worked fine. And then coming onto here, it was like it's on your side. I had to re-jig my audio on your list before I came into the studio. So anyway, how are you, chaps? All right?
Very good. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, good. Good.
It's a nice sunny morning. I don't know what the weather's like for you guys. It's lovely and sunny here, and
it's lovely here. Yeah,
got my washing out and everything.
Nice.
But we're having a fun morning. There's a lot of people in the comments this morning, which is nice. I guess people have got more time on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So we were just. Sorry, go on, Laurence.
Should we go back to Steve's page?
I was just going to suggest
that. Now that we've got him.
Yes, so there we go.
Yeah,
there we go. So, Steve, what's your sort of memories of working on this? What's your take on it, and how did you feel about the story and about what you had to do for it?
Well, I love obviously I'd read the first issue when I started this, and I loved the first issue. I'm just a fan of folk horror and thrillers, detective thrillers, and darker stuff. So I was already a fan. So it was lovely to be asked. And then again, one of my favourite characters. I like the grisly characters. The get down dirty characters. And so Father Christmas and Johnny. I terrible names. They were right up my alley. So So I just threw myself into it. It's great, really good. And then obviously I had a chat with Laurence, and he said, "Is there anything you'd like to?" We spoke about kill lists, and I sent you a list of movies that I enjoyed, and then we sort of tied some of that stuff into it as well. So it was nice to sort of bounce ideas back and forth with Laurence, which she's really good at. That was it, and I got stuck into it. It was good pacey little 6-page number.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of these stories. I mean, Laurence, you condense your storytelling at the best of times, but these are really nicely condensed storytelling. You get a lot of story out of these very short stories, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's one of the appeals for Laurence. I mean, even with the first issue for me, because I didn't know how it was going to end, whether it was going to be open-ended straight into issue 2 or whatever. But it's just a nice, concise beginning, middle, and end with which you can obviously carry on as well into the following issues. But it's really nice.
It is. I got some more comments. We're doing well in the comments today. It was a big one from Darren. The Wicker Man is high up on my list as one of the best British horror films of all time.
The original.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Not page bastardization, no.
I recorded it off TV in my early teens. I think we all did, but I was too young to understand it or appreciate it. but I saw it again when I was older, and it disturbed the hell out of me. It's a film that really gets under your skin and doesn't resort to blood and guts for its scenes, for its scares. That's a really good point, actually. It's more the fact that one big game is played on one man until that horrifying climax. Yeah, that's the horror of it, isn't it? That realization, I think, of the actual situation.
Yeah, with Kill List as well. I mean, Kill List is a little bit more full on and there's a little bit more violence and gore, but it's the same. It's the same feel. The disturbing bits, it's all focused on that one character, and it's not until the end you realise that it's all.
Darren saying hi, Steve.
Hi, Darren.
Fantastic artwork, great use of shadows, and I think he's probably talking about. No detriment to your work, Steve, but I think he's probably talking about Adams, because I think he posted that when Adams was on the page.
Oh, right, yeah.
Adams
got some lovely work.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely put a pledge in straight after this video. You can put one in now if you want, Darren. But thank you for that, Darren. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Steve, for that input. Like I say, we are going to show some more pages, and I'll ask you now while you're here on the stream, actually, are you putting any of your originals up for sale? Because people have been asking about them.
I've got I have a chap who collects all most of my stuff, so he's already put in a bid. Well, not a bid for it, but he's already said. I think he saw one that I put up, or Laurence put up. On to me asking if they're available. So I will be, but they've been earmarked already.
Why? There you go, guys. That's your answer.
I mean, what's interesting about this page, you're sort of talking about shadows. I would never, ever have thought to have drawn Johnny Jack's face that obscured without any face, but it just works so well. You know what I mean? You get the sensitivity of that.
Instinctively, I don't. Instinctively, I go for detail, not blocks of black necessarily. Yeah. But with that, I thought it worked quite well. In fact, it was an accident to start with, and then I decided it worked, so I kept it.
It's really interesting, though, isn't it? Because if I was going to draw that, the last thing I would think to do is not have a character's face who's just thought he's lost someone, not being able to see his face. But actually, the fact it's in darkness works even better. Your mind is reading more into it than is actually there. It's a clever.
And I know that's the case, but psychologically, because I've always been so into drawing details, and I struggle to. I think it's a confidence thing to throw myself into it, but I know it works because it works in in film as well. Same principle.
It was a great way of expressing the sadness of the moment, really. And it is true, it works in lots of visual storytelling, that the less you see sometimes is more, because the reader here can project their own emotions onto the scene, and that's really, really it's the same with scares, like we were saying about Wicker Man before. You don't see lots of blood and gore or anything like that, but you are scared, and I think a lot of the greatest horror movies are the ones that don't rely on shock and gore, but give you that creepy feeling, You're
processing it long after the movie's finished, with imagining what you didn't see.
Definitely. I totally agree.
Yeah, I think it's always good if the viewer, reader, or person that is seeing this creative bit of work is being involved in it, doing a bit of the work themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're a part of it, definitely. Yeah.
So I'm going to keep scrolling, and feel free to join in on the comments, guys. And so we've had a look at Adam's beautiful page there, and I really like his version of Hedrek, by the way.
Adam tends to work off photographs, and he said to me throughout, well, who have you based this character on? Who do you and sometimes I do have someone in mind, and as you know, Shane, Reece Shearsmith was my sort of go-to person for Hedrek, and there's some shots there that I think that top one in particular, if you just can scroll up to that, you can see the Reece lookalike there. But it's interesting, various other people have said who they think would be good for playing Hedrek. I think Simon Colby said that Mads Mikkelsen would be pretty good, and I can see that as well.
Oh yeah, that would work, wouldn't it?
That would work.
Yeah.
I wonder how we would do with the accent though, because it's quite because Hedrek's got quite a strong accent, hasn't it?
It's like old Cockney,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he certainly looks the part. I'm trying to think of British actors that could sort of play the role, because he has got a certain look to him, hasn't he, Hedrek? It's his build, and he's sort of in his 30s, so he is of a certain age. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see anyone out there. If you want to submit your sort of casting for Hedrek, we'd love to hear it. So a third creator is Damien Edwardson. Now, I've known Damien for many, many years. We went to college together, and it's quite surreal for me now, actually, because to be publishing his work after all these years and admiring his work. When we were at college, it was quite clear that Damien was always much more talented than me, with his art. And I always admired his painting, especially. I mean, he is a great painter. I don't know if you guys saw his Walking Dead set that he did.
Yeah, phenomenal portrait artist. Yeah, and some of his wrestlers that he's done are great as well. Yeah, great comic. I don't know if he works in oils or gouache or what he works in, but yeah, really nice stuff.
Yeah, it is great stuff. And I think he's gone sort of digital now with a lot of his portraits, and they're equally, fantastic. So here's a page from Damien, and it's another sort of approach altogether in his style. I think he's really sort of thought, this is a different project. I'm going to develop something else for this, and he's really sort of knocked it out the park. Basically, these images. I love this panel. I mean, it just tells. It's like when you go to an art gallery and you look at painting and you see a story just in the image. I mean, there's no text on this, but there's a story there, isn't there?
Yeah, and the fact you're looking into. I love the fact you're looking into that panel as well. Standing at the table almost.
Yeah, that's it. It's like you're in the room. It's great. Yeah. And when we do add the text, it's quite disturbing, the text on this panel, if I remember correctly.
When I wrote this, I thought maybe I've gone a bit far with this, having one of our villains actually eating children. I thought, maybe. But then again, I mean, there's a couple of pages later where Damien really goes to town. And when I wrote it, I thought, yeah, that's pretty bad. I wonder what it's going to look like visually. And when I got Damien's page, I was like, holy shit, this is brutal. Absolutely brutal. So, but again, he fits it so well, stark black and white. There's a sort of morbid grimness to his work, and the two guys at the back there, they're, I'm very light. Steve will tell you this. I'm very light on my descriptions in the script. I'm not Alan Moore. I'm, definitely not that end of the spectrum. It's like, draw whatever you want, but I need these two guys in it. But his two guys there, they're so sinister. That mask of that guy, is so creepy and weird. But and in Damien's story, I mean, this is going to be our major villain, the Liko, Marek Komarov, who's, I wrote this way before the whole Russian oligarch thing, and that is
it was quite prophetic, wasn't it? Because you got there, I remember us talking about it, Laurence, because you'd obviously written this script a while ago, and then obviously all these things happened, and it's like, oh, people are going to think we're riffing off what's happening in reality, but it's just not the case. But I suppose
character sort of cross between Jeffrey Epstein and some psychopathic Russian oligarch. But we won't give the game away too much, but we definitely up the stakes in this issue. So
he's a nasty guy, let's put it that way. This villain. He really is. Got a little question from Darren. How can I pledge in without leaving this page, as I'm on my phone? You probably will have to do it after the show. Then if you're only on your phone, it doesn't give you I don't think you can do that, but if anyone knows better, please do comment. Luke, Damien, absolutely awesome, dude. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Thanks for that, Luke. And again from Darren, have you boys heard of Graham Humphreys? He's an absolutely amazing horror poster artist. I met him at Darkfest in London a few years ago when I met a few friends there. Do you know the name rings a bell? It really does, but I can't visualize. Yeah. It's I'm not tech savvy enough to go and Google and share. Like I'm at the limit of my talents doing what I'm doing right now without Sam.
Oh yeah, these are nice. Yeah, I've just looked at some stuff. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, really
I'm
nice.
looking now as well.
You'll have to share it in the group, in the Hedrek group, Laurence, so that we can all.
I will.
Look.
I will. Yeah.
With
Ali, titles hung, drawn, and executed.
Oh,
nice. Psycho Gorman.
that's sort of that gives
cat,
you an idea, doesn't it?
Gives you a bit of a hint. Yeah.
Ali loves your cat, Laurence.
Well, there's 3 of them. This one's ridiculously attached to me. If I sit down anywhere, he's on my lap before I bums.
Does he interrupt you at night when you're trying to sleep and like
all the time? We got 3 of them. They're all different personalities, but
yeah, they do, don't they? Cats, they all have their own personalities.
Like my 3 kids. They disturb me in the night as well.
Comment from Darian. Love that piece. Very clear and almost looks like a photo. Oh, well, yeah. Damien does have that sort of sharp reality to his work a lot of the time. I think that's from doing a lot of portrait work. He's very familiar with the human face. So he's able to get, decent realism into his characters and his expressions, which was great for this strip because there's a lot of storytelling with facial expression in this story. Because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of sort of nasty moments, if you like, and to try and express, you needed an artist who could do that, and Damien has that in spades, thankfully. I'm going to go back to the campaign because we're going to have a look at, another creator, and the final, but not least, of course, is the Mr. Paul McCaffrey. Now, Paul did an amazing job on these pages, and he's also working on lots of other stuff at the moment. He's really prolific, isn't he, Laurence?
Yeah, I'm working with him on another strip called The Divided Saint. Actually, it's him, Warwick, and Dave Hitchcock, and they've all turned in some fantastic pages on that. In fact, I'm working with Steve on a well. Do you want to talk about this, Steve? Do you want to just quickly plug?
Yes, Steve. Do you want to give a quick plug to what you're doing?
So I'm working with Laurence on a anthology called Warfighter, and one of the short stories in there is a story about kind of a super soldier. How do you describe him, Laurence?
Augmented human.
Human super soldier. Yeah.
Heavily augmented.
Yeah. So it's one of 3 stories we're working on. But it's all going to tie in. That's going to be in the same book, isn't it? The Divided Saint.
Yeah, we're doing a thing at the moment, an anthology, and Steve's doing 3 separate stories. One's called Vitruvius, which is about this augmented soldier. He makes Slane look like a social worker, really.
I'll give you the full screen. Hold on.
Oh, you got the.
There you go.
Opening page to Vitruvius.
Oh wow. That sort of reminds me of Dark City a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my favourites. So I'm sure that was in there somewhere.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Wow.
What
size is that full A3 that you work on, is it, Steve?
Yeah, A3, yeah.
Lovely.
I usually do thumbnails, and then I scan them in and blow them up to A3, just roughs, and then I lightbox through onto A3.
Ah, right.
And
that gives, I suppose that enables you to capture that spontaneity from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it keeps the energy up. Yeah, and it takes a little bit longer, but actually, in the long run, if I sit down with the page of A3 and try and copy something, a rough that I've done, for that reason as well, you just constantly rubbing out. Whereas this way, it's just it takes a little bit longer initially, but the process as a whole is a lot faster. I know I got it from Dave Gibbons actually. He talks about when you Watchmen, that's how you do Watchmen. It works well.
Yeah, you very much. Yeah, Dave. I talked to Dave a lot about it, and obviously he's done some talks for me as well on the subject of how he constructs his comics, and he's a great believer in the thumbnails, and creating those first for the storytelling, placement of the blacks and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great process, and it still applies digitally. You can still do it digitally.
Yeah.
And it's I think it is quicker because you're not.
It is around. Yeah,
definitely, I agree. So just a little comment there, Darren. Oh, Graham Humphries did the artwork for the original Evil Dead films and the Nightmare. Oh, yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, I know the artist now. That explains it all. Yeah, such a talented artist. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that, Steve. I'll just return to the normal screen. Okay. So talking about Paul, weren't we? Yeah, I'll just go back onto that. So Paul's done some great work for us. And here's an example of one of the pages. I love these washes. They just add so much depth and character to the pages. And these characters, obviously, if you're already familiar with the book, you're already familiar with these characters and how they interact. And I really like his. I can't remember her name now off the top of my head, but she's an agent. That's it, Crystal. Yeah, she's MI5, MI6. Sorry, yeah. But she's a great character, and I love the sparring between her and the other guys in issue 2. You know, so it's really great to see her come back.
It's a great one. Yeah.
So, what was, just without giving too much away, Laurence? What was Paul's story about?
Well, so Paul's story is called The March to Salterton Hill, and in that, there's a big. I think Paul's is going to sit at the end of this anthology because there's a big splash reveal page right at the end that will lead us into 4, and in that we'll learn a lot more about what's going on with Momus and Elena Bacco. So, he's done Paul's a great storyteller, and these small moments as well, these small little micro expressions and the interplay between Crystal and Dan. She's kind of slightly wacky and forgetful and unthorough and a bit nuts, and Dan's very sort of procedural. So that interplay was nice, and just some lovely little touches there. So Paul's done some fantastic pages on this, and the last scene that splash panel will lead us into the next episode. But it's a big revelation about Momus, Elena, and the relationship between her and Hedrek. So that will move us forward in a big leap towards the next issue. So an absolute ton happens in this issue. So there's plenty going on. But beautiful washes, some really nice work. Really nice.
Sorry, Steve, did you have something to interject?
No, just saying, really lovely. Yeah, I love his work. Right.
I love Paul's work. I mean, and he has actually done. I'm going to announce here and now. He has done a variant cover for us in full color, and it is absolutely stunning. I mean, I don't know what you guys have both seen it, I think, and I'm sure you agree. I was not expecting that.
No, nor was I. But it's great. It actually, the best word is really beautiful.
Yeah,
it's a very beautiful cover. Yeah,
it absolutely is.
I'll have it on my wall.
Yeah, it is. It's poster level quality, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask Laurence, is Crystal based on anybody that you know?
I could possibly say.
Because she's a very well, in this, we meet her for a very short period, but she's a very well, rounded character. You get a real sense of who she is just from the dialogue, Yeah,
I mean, they all, of course, you draw on people that you've known, and cops, like any organization, they're a very heterogeneous group of people. And the same is true in some of these services 5 and 6. They're variable people. So, but importantly, narratively, I mean, I think it's really the greatest crime a writer can make is to have all characters being the same personality, because it's almost impossible to move the story forward. It makes it difficult to plot. That's what makes life interesting, is the interplay between them. I mean, if you look at something like Jaws, it's basically hung around 3 characters, and they're all completely distinct and different. So it's always important for me to think, what does this character really want?
Yeah. What's their motivation
for developing characters, Laurence? When you're doing, did you sit and write a list of their traits and the background? I mean, how much time and effort do you put into that before you start actually writing the script?
Well, I tend to spend. This is not a very adequate answer, but I tend to spend a lot of time thinking about it. I don't necessarily write things down, but it is in my head. I go for a lot of long walks, and that's where I think a lot of my writing process is, because I just don't have the time to spend hours and hours writing great big Bibles of whatever it is. I mean, it's a mix for me. The main thing I focus on is, act one, this is really sort of crap writing 101, but I think it's important to have a structure. What's happening at the beginning, what happens in the middle, and what happens at the end, basically. And whatever's at the beginning has to change by the end. So that's fundamental to me. And then the characterization has to service that requirement. But you need characters that are going to have different wants and needs and, brush up against each other. But it's, and then I think a lot of it changes just slightly dynamically. So as long as you've got a structure and then you've got a lot of room to play within that seems to work for me anyway, in terms of how I write. So, but yeah, Crystal, I have met people like Crystal, that are smart but confused, let's say. So.
I know exactly what you mean. I've known people like that who are incredibly intelligent, but just can't do basic stuff. Yeah. Can't exist in the wild. Can't exist in the wild, but they're really, really clever. It's unusual. So I'm going to go back to the screen because obviously we've covered the interior artists. But I should also give a mention to our cover artist. Now you've seen the cover art created by Shane Oakley. Now, an absolute stunning piece of work. I'll go back to it there. There we are. I mean, it's fantastic. He really has done us proud. So big thank you to Shane. And of course, we have to mention our letterer, Robin Jones, who also lettered issue 1, and has lettered just hundreds of comics, it seems, in the indie world over the last few years. I love that photo. Just sort of
done too much lettering expression.
Yeah. I've done 100 pages today.
Lettering eyes.
Yeah, lettering eyes, definitely. But as always, it's great to work with Rob. So a little bit more about what's for grabs.
Have we got Paul's cover? I don't think you've shown that yet.
Oh yeah, it's hidden there. It's behind the. I will show it at the end of the show. I think I wasn't going to, but it's just a bit cruel to tease people, isn't it? Yeah. So it is going to appear at the end of the campaign. So you can obviously get both covers. That is another offer for grabs. And here it is. Actually, I'm going to reveal it now. There we go, without the logo, but that is the artwork. Yeah, stunning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't show the whole thing at the same time because of the limitations of my screen, but you get the gist. It's just a fantastic image. It really is. Yeah. Great design. Thank you for that, Paul. So that version, I should say as well, will be printed to order and only ever available via the campaign as an exclusive limited edition. So if you want this cover, guys, you can only get it on Kickstarter.
Will you produce posters of it, do you think?
Sorry?
Will you produce or consider producing posters of it?
We will be doing some prints, yeah, because obviously it's a beautiful piece of artwork, and it's and for both, so yeah, there will be a set of prints on offer for both covers. You can buy them as a set, and they'll be slightly oversized on really high quality art paper. If you've pledged before with us and you've had prints, the quality that you're going to get, and it is very high, and they're really nice, and it's great artwork. So yeah,
does Paul work fully digitally? Do you know? Or I don't think he does he?
Well, this is digital, I would say. Yeah, I can. Yeah, it looks digital. I think he does his pencils in, traditionally, then scans them in and works like that. But I with his black and white stuff, yeah, it looks like that's what he does. And then obviously the colours are digital. But we couldn't get Paul on the show, unfortunately. I'd love to have had a chat with him about that. Maybe on a future show, because he has guested on shows with us before, so maybe I'll get him in to talk about his process. That would be really good. And as always, there are sketch covers on offer. Now, sketch covers so far as I know, will be from Damien. He has agreed to do 5 sketch covers. Now, these are obviously really limited because there are only 5. They are original artwork on a blank cover. So once they're gone, folks. And of course, the catch up, you can get all 3, but we have already mentioned that. And then our pledge is always that we will send out the Kickstarters before anything's available in the shops. So, yeah, that's pretty much the campaign in a nutshell. I can't believe we've got through nearly an hour so quickly, actually.
Well, you have. I've been here an hour.
Yeah, you've been here. How long you been here, Steve? You haven't done the full time yet. I'm gonna dot your pay.
I've been on screen 25 minutes, but I've been sitting here for an hour.
So we've already raised £400. Wow. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much.
22 backers.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank
That's
you
great.
so much. That's amazing. So 22 people, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. So there's 29 days to go, so just under a month. And yeah, that's the whole thing, guys. Thank you to everyone who joined in on the chat. I think we are caught up on the chat. Yeah. So thanks to everyone who joined in. Thanks, Steve, for coming onto the show and having a chat with us. For the little amount of time that we got here. Oh, one last question from the chat from Darren. Is the 3rd issue the last issue, or is there going to be more? So I'll explain it, because this is actually a one-shot. It originally was going to be issue 3, but it's a one-shot. So the final issue will be issue 3, which was originally issue 4, but it will be marked as issue 3. And that will be the last one of Night of the Mummers. But there may be more Hedrek.
If he survives.
Laurence has. If he survives. Yeah, you don't know. Let's not make any assumptions. But it's possible that there could be more Hedrek in the future. I will always be happy to publish it. Whether Laurence wants to visit that world again or not is totally different matter. It might be that this is it, but I don't think we can make any official announcements in that area, can we, Laurence?
Not yet, no. I have a reputation for killing people, so you never know.
But as I say, I'd be glad to do more, because it's been a real pleasure working on Hedrek and building up this audience and watching it grow. You know, as the story develops, it's been very satisfying to be part of that.
Great.
Yeah,
great.
Let's have a look what we got there. Yep, I get that. That's cool. Thanks, Shay. I love the way that people have really sort of personal conversations on the chat. It's fantastic. It's like it's just fantastic. So thanks, guys. It's been a great hour, and thanks to everyone who's pledged already. Thanks to everyone who commented. I'm really looking forward to working on this project as we continue. Have yourselves a great Saturday, everybody, and you two guys too. Thanks again for coming on the show.
No problem, Shane. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.